Hey there friends and family, I wanted to make another video for you, and this time it is about my first month on Pohnpei. And I'm going to do my best to keep this concise and to the point. A lot has happened in the first month, so I've got some notes here. If you see me looking down, I'm trying to look at my notes to see exactly what I want to tell you about this first month. It's been a busy month, it's been a great month. Let me just start off by telling you some of the things that I've had to do since I'm staying here for a longer period of time. The last two times that I've been here have both been for 2 months. This time being that it could be a year, year and a half, 2 years. I don't really know. A lot of things have changed. For instance, before I was allowed to drive 60 days on my United States, Pennsylvania driver's license. However, this time, since I'm going to be here longer, they require me to get a driver's license. That was a pretty interesting process. I went down to the police station and I filled out the paperwork to get a driver's license, and because I already have a Pennsylvania driver's license, you don't need to take any tests or anything like that. They just issue you a driver's license. I believe it was $6 that I had to pay. So I filled out the paperwork. He said, okay, now you need to take this over to the finance office, which is kind of a block or two away, kind of in the middle of town there. And he said, oh, and when you come back with your receipt, he said, make sure you bring a picture with you. A picture? He said, yeah, this size. So I had to leave the police station, go over to the finance office, pay my $6 over there, not at the police station, and then go from there. I had to drive up to the public library where they took my picture and printed it, and I took my receipt and my picture back down to the police station. And I was thoroughly expecting to get a nice license. I've seen some of them around. I've seen Dave and Ruth Ann's in the past. Had seen their license, and they were nice, you know, regular plastic card license and everything. But this time I got there, and they basically printed me a piece of paper and glued my picture to the front. That's my Pohnpei driver's license. So that just was kind of a unique experience. Then I wanted to be able to get on insurance, since my insurance that I had in the States for health would not cover me here. So I wanted to get on what they call MyCare, Micronesian insurance. And in order to do that, though, I needed to have an FSM, Federated States of Micronesia, Social Security number. So I went down to the Social Security office, and I said I need a Social Security number, handed them my passport and $3, and they printed me up a card with a new FSM Social Security number. Pretty interesting how easy it is to get things on occasion. So that also enabled me to get MyCare insurance. I'm now signed up and I'm covered with the MyCare insurance here. It covers me for health. It also takes care of any issues if I would need to be transferred away from the island and go to Guam or the Philippines or Honolulu. This insurance would take care of that as well. Another interesting thing that happened really just in the last week is that I have now been appointed as an associate missionary with Worldwide New Testament Baptist Mission in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. I'm really excited about that. So they're going to be handling my finances and handling things stateside for me that need to be taken care of, and I'm really happy and pleased to be working with them. They've been really great with me, and let me just say as well, this is the mission board that the Arthurs have served with for quite a number of years, and because of that relationship, the mission board is actually the folks that helped me get back out here on short notice by paying for my plane ticket, and that was a huge blessing as well. Also in this first month, I spent really 3 weeks of this going just about every day on weekdays and at least one Saturday to Congress, and I've mentioned this before, but this is all in an effort to be able to have some good local news to report on the air. I've started doing that as well. I've started doing some local news broadcasts. I think I mentioned this in another video, but I do that right here at this computer with this microphone, and then I transfer it over and it's pre-recorded when it goes on the air. But it's been 3 weeks going to Congress. It's been good. They actually passed a resolution in Congress. If you are friends with me on Facebook, you may have seen the resolution they passed in Congress that honored Dave for his years of service here to the island and to this country. And that was a really neat thing to be there when they passed that, and that some of the senators made some really kind remarks. Also, I've gotten to be a little bit of friends, I would say, with one senator. His name is Congressman David Panuello, and he's one that I've started to build a little bit of a rapport with. I've announced a few things for him on the local news broadcast. One of them was a cleanup project he was sponsoring to clean up a causeway between the island and the airport, and that was just a neat opportunity to announce that. And I was also able to go one day for a little while and help them with that project. I think in a matter of 3 or 4 days, just working an hour each day, they gathered something like 150 to 200 garbage bags of trash off of this about mile stretch of road. So that was a great project, and I believe he's going to be a great friend and an asset to me as I try to do the news broadcast and things here, he's going to be a friend to me as well. Another great thing that I had a chance to do is go to my first Pohnpei wedding. That was last Saturday, and I had a chance to actually video it, and that was a really fun experience. Really my first wedding video, and I was able to use my camera that I'm using right now and borrow another camera and have 2 camera angles and some audio equipment set up. Just a unique thing about that is I went down Friday night to the rehearsal, and they asked me to do their audio as well. So I got the microphones all set up for the guitarist. I had a microphone on the groom and a wireless microphone that was going to pick up him and the bride and the preacher as well. And this all was working so nicely. And one thing you have to learn here on Pohnpei is power outages are frequent. And so we got down to the wedding to set up Saturday afternoon, a few hours early, set up the cameras. They said, oh, by the way, the power's off and your sound system isn't going to work. So I made some last minute changes, and the bride and the groom kind of were talking, through the preacher, do we want to go ahead and have the wedding without the power, or do we want to wait for the power to come back on? So they called the power company. They said, well, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 hours before the power comes on. So they finally decided to have the wedding, and sure enough, about halfway through the wedding, the power did come back on. Unfortunately, at that point, I made some modifications to my audio system in order to at least get audio into my video cameras, which meant that the speaker still didn't come on when the power came on, unfortunately. But it was a really neat experience to see my first Pohnpei wedding. I do already have a short preview video of that on my YouTube page, and you may be seeing some more of that to come in the future as I finish up the editing. Just a little bit of an update on what's going on with Ruth Ann. She has already left the island. She left, this is Saturday when I'm recording this. She left on Wednesday to travel back to the States where she lives in Greenville, South Carolina. And they will be holding a memorial service there for Dave toward the end of October. And she's going to come back and continue serving on the island sometime around the middle of November. I believe it's November the 12th. So if you would, continue to pray for me over the next 6 weeks as I run the station basically on my own. I have the help of the local workers, but I'm really the one who's responsible to make sure things get done correctly and carry on as they should. Pray for her as she is in the States and conducts a lot of business with some legal matters with Dave's death, and just maybe learning to do some things with her finances that she needs to learn now that he's gone. So pray for her. Pray that the memorial service would be an honor to the Lord. Also, let me remind you that if you have any ideas about videos that you would like me to make, please feel free to let me know. I've already received one suggestion, and I've got that down on my list. But if you have any more suggestions, things that you'd like to see, things you'd like to learn about, feel free to let me know. And until next time, remember to pray for Pohnpei.